Mirror, mirror, what makes you, you? When deciding on a career, the best place to start is by looking in the mirror. Who are you, and what makes you tick? What are your interests, talents, and abilities? What is your personality? Every one of us is a unique individual, and considering all the traits that make you yourself are the keys to finding your mission in life and planning a career path. So you may think to yourself, hey, I'm good at math, so I should be an accountant. Or, I'm a great singer, so I should go on X Factor. Maybe you should. But whether or not you do, the most important thing to remember is DBA. Don't be afraid of trying new things. And keep in mind that not everyone finds their success after one try. In fact, more often than not, those who earned their place in history were faced with numerous challenges that forced them to work hard, change, and show determination. For example, Walt Disney started out designing ads for a newspaper, but was fired by the editor because he lacked imagination and had no good ideas. After that, Disney started a number of businesses that didn't last too long and experienced bankruptcy and failure, but he kept at the drawing board, so to speak, and eventually created one of the most successful empires in the world. I wonder whatever happened to that editor who fired him. What about one of the greatest physics minds in the world, Albert Einstein? Well, it turns out old Albert didn't show signs of promise until later than average. He did not speak until he was 4, and did not read until he was 7. His teachers and parents thought he was mentally handicapped. He was even expelled from school. It took him a little while, but he went on to win the Nobel Prize and change the science of modern physics. Then there's Indiana Jones. Turns out that before Harrison Ford became a successful actor, he was turned down by movie producers left and right. He eventually gave up and became a carpenter until he was cast in the film American Graffiti by director George Lucas. Today, he is one of Hollywood's most successful actors and is best known for roles such as Han Solo in the Star Wars trilogy and Indiana Jones, among others. J.K. Rowling may be rolling in a lot of Harry Potter dough today, but before she published her series of novels, she was nearly penniless, severely depressed, divorced, and trying to raise a child on her own while attending school and writing a novel. Through hard work and determination, Rowling went from depending on welfare to survive to being one of the richest women in the world in a span of only 5 years. Elvis lives. As one of the best-selling artists of all time, Elvis Presley is still a household name even years after his death. But back in 1954, Elvis was basically a nobody. In fact, Jimmy Denny, manager of the Grand Ole Opry, fired Elvis Presley after just one performance, telling him, "You ain't going nowhere, son. You ought to go back to driving a truck." Bet he regretted those words when Elvis became the king. Most people wouldn't believe that a man often lauded as the best basketball player of all time was actually cut from his high school basketball team. Luckily, Michael Jordan didn't let this setback stop him from playing the game he loved. Jordan once stated, "I have missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I have lost almost 300 games. On 26 occasions, I have been entrusted to take the game-winning shot, and I missed. I have failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." The great Vincent van Gogh would not be a starving artist today, but that was not the case when he was alive. During his lifetime, the artist only sold one painting for a small amount of money, but he never gave up and followed his passion. He loved to paint so much that he would starve himself at times. Over his life, he went on to complete almost 900 works of art and influence the art world forever. His masterpieces are displayed in museums around the world and sell for hundreds of millions today. And the Academy Award goes to Steven Spielberg. Mr. Spielberg was actually rejected from Southern California School of Theater, Film and Television 3 times. Eventually, he did get into another school and worked as an unpaid intern in the editing department at Universal Studios. He dropped out of college to take up a television director contract at Universal Studios. The rest is history. Steven Spielberg would go on to become one of the most famous directors in the world. These are just a few examples of people who have overcome challenges, made changes, and had the determination to keep going and find their successful careers. Just like Harrison Ford and J.K. Rowling, each of us is unique. We are made up of different traits. We have different ideas, and we all think differently. But no matter how different we are, every one of us is intelligent in our own way. We all have personalities of our own. So, what does it mean to be intelligent? Many tests, such as the SAT, focus on verbal and mathematical skills. Clearly, that is one type of intelligence. But did you know there are other kinds of intelligence too? Psychologist Howard Gardner came up with a theory that there are at least 8 types of intelligence. For instance, if you learn best from reading and writing, you are word smart, which is perhaps the best known type of intelligence, like the once penniless J.K. Rowling. Or maybe you learn best by using logic and reasoning, which makes you number reasoning smart, like that developmentally delayed learner, Albert Einstein. Or perhaps you are picture smart, which means you learn best by using pictures and images, like Walt Disney. A 4th type of intelligence is the ability to learn by doing, using the body and sense of touch, which is known as body smart, like Michael Jordan. Or maybe your strength is not in physical movement, but in musical movements. If you learn best by using music or sound, you are music smart, like Elvis, Michael Jackson, or Beyoncé. If you excel at learning through independent study and introspection, then you may be self-smart, which is a trait shared by Sigmund Freud and Aristotle. Or maybe you learn well through group activities, seminars, and dialogues. If you are comfortable interacting with others, you are people smart, like Oprah Winfrey or former President Bill Clinton. And last, if you love learning about the world around you and enjoy the outdoors, you're like celebrity survivalist Bear Grylls, nature smart. Now, of course, none of these intelligence types exist on their own. It is likely that you have more than one type of intelligence, maybe even a combination of these, but you will probably find that one of them fits you better than another, and is your primary type of intelligence or best way of learning. But it is important to realize that there is a lot more to you than your intelligence alone. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Do you ever wonder, what kind of personality do I have? Well, your personality combined with your intelligence can help you in deciding on your career. For instance, just because you are a number smart person, it doesn't mean you have to choose a career as a scientist or a math teacher. Or because you're body smart, it doesn't mean you should necessarily decide to be a fitness instructor. Unless you really want to, of course. Just as there are many types of intelligence, there are also some basic personality types that may help to define you. These personality profiles are known as DISC, which stands for Dominance, Influence, Steadiness, and Conscientiousness. As you listen, think about which personality traits you have. People with the D style or dominance personality are motivated by winning, competition, and success. They are often described as direct, demanding, forceful, strong-willed, driven, and determined, fast-paced, and self-confident. An example of this personality type is Donald Trump. The I in DISC stands for influence. People with the I style are motivated by social recognition, group activities, and relationships. They are usually described as convincing, magnetic, enthusiastic, warm, trusting, and optimistic. Examples of people with this personality style are Oprah and Bill Clinton. Next is S, which stands for steadiness. A person with the S personality style is motivated by cooperation, opportunities to help, and sincere appreciation. They are described as calm, patient, predictable, deliberate, stable, and consistent. Examples of people with the S personality are Gandhi and Mother Teresa. And last is the C style, which stands for conscientiousness. This personality is motivated by opportunities to gain knowledge, showing expertise and quality work. People with this personality are described as careful, cautious, systematic, diplomatic, accurate, and tactful. Examples include Bill Gates and Albert Einstein. So what personality style do you have? Thinking about these personality characteristics gives you a rough idea of what kind of person you are. Both your personality profile and your intelligence profile can help you choose a career that is a good fit for you. As you begin planning your career, it might be helpful to follow 4 steps to success, which were recently published in Forbes magazine. 1. Figure out what you want to do. 2. Take a small step toward that goal. 3. Pause to see what you learned from taking that step. 4. Build the learning into that next small step, and so on. While many people have a vision for their lives or work, most people don't effectively focus on that vision and take direct steps toward their goals. If you focus on your vision, it is much more likely to come true. That's powerful. So remember, having a vision is important, but focusing on the vision is crucial. Let your focus take you where you want to go. How does this happen? Focus on the vision by asking yourself an important question. Is what I'm about to do, say, or decide going to move me closer to or farther away from my vision? If the answer is closer, then obviously you should do, say, or decide that thing. If the answer is farther, then don't do it. As a result, once you've answered the question, you will make decisions that move you toward fulfilling your vision. Also keep in mind that while it is easy to compare yourself to other people, and sometimes feel that you fall short, the key is to remember that you are a unique individual. No one is like you, and it does not pay to measure yourself against anyone else's accomplishments. Picture yourself running around a track. The only one you are racing is yourself. So you are going to win. It's just a question of how you get to the finish line. You may run out of breath at times, but the most important thing is to continue on and push harder. Jump over life's hurdles and stay in the race. With every lap completed, you will feel a greater sense of accomplishment. Continue to drive yourself, and eventually you will win your own personal race. And don't ever forget that with focus, determination, and pursuing what you enjoy and do best, you are capable of so much more than you can ever imagine.